towards the Jamaica Road and expect a bit of traffic there as well. Moving straight to the Freeport of Monrovia, where there's ongoing road construction. You should also expect traffic at that end as well. So these are traffic alerts for you. If you manage to pass that Freeport in, expect traffic around Claratown, Valtown, and then you reach the town. Of course, then you save a bit. All right. So those are our traffic alerts for this morning. On the program, The Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1. I think we are back on the internet now, live on the internet. So welcome back to the program this morning. My name is Fidel City, and of course, Dennis Nipson is also here this morning. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Fidel, and it's good to be back this morning on what we love doing best.
Yeah. It was. We had a rain. I don't know whether your side also rained there.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, kind of cold this morning.
Yes.
But that kind of cold can make you late for work.
Yes, so sleep.
Sleep can carry you by way. Especially when you not work plenty like that.
I know.
Yeah, the sleep can carry you
get
by
so tired,
yeah.
and then when little cool comes,
yeah,
just sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, little cool. All right.
What about a little cool?
No, I didn't emphasize a little cool. I mean, Denise, little cool. But welcome to the program this morning, folks. And there are lots of things happening in Liberia, Denise. I mean, yesterday the topical issue on almost all of the radio station was the U.S. ambassador's statement, and that was even overshadowed the retreat in Buchanan City, and we've been placing our eyes on the retreat in Buchanan, and we've not placed so much emphasis on what's happening in Buchanan. So we will speak with Jeff this morning and find out what's happening in Buchanan now.
The retreat is over.
It's over.
The president came back. Yeah,
oh, tell me.
Yeah.
I'm really behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see why this trolling on social media. You know, people said the retreat was actually interrupted by the ambassador's statement.
Paul Pepe also
inside. I mean, well, I've always said this. Our friendly people who are friendly with
missions,
us. I mean, friendly missions in Liberia. There will be these statements, all right. Even though there are people who have considered the statement of the ambassador as being too political, but hey, he's a political appointee. He's here as a political appointee. He will make statements, and those statements are not intended to satisfy the government of the day. They are intended to state exactly the position of the U.S. government on happenings in our country. Even though sometimes people consider this as stepping the bounds, but he who pay the papa, something like that. He will pay the papa pop the cheese or whatever. Yeah, something like that. But yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, right? So their mouth will be here. They are giving too much to Liberia, so they have interest in Liberia. So don't get it twisted. They do have interest in Liberia. So you have these kinds of statements. You don't want to spend your money. You spend over $60 million and say you're not put your mouth somewhere.
Sure.
It doesn't work like that.
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
And also, I saw the publication that came out in 1987, in June of 1987, that the U.S. called for reforms in Liberia. So with that, it means that the cycle...
Yeah, it's always been like that.
Like that, and those things are still happening, you know. Since 1987, we are here again, and all of that, you know.
So it's not a strange thing. It is not a phenomenon that only associated with the George Weah government. All right, it's just that the activities that are taking place
and also
will always
with
be highlighted.
Ambassador McCarthy, it's not that he's targeting someone, but he's doing his job to ensure that Liberia is better.
That's what he's supposed to do as ambassador. All right, that's why these foreign missions are about. And when we're going, it's just that we're so small a country that we don't discuss, we don't enter the affairs of other bigger nations. But that's how it is. All right, so let's go across the country and speak with our correspondents. This morning we'll speak with Elton Jones, like I said, and there's some kind of funny story from District 11, Denise. When you hear the story, you will laugh.
Yeah, I heard that
you heard
story.
the story.
It sounds so family-related
family-related
personal issues.
It's. I mean, I don't know how people can operate, but that's it. But let's go to our man in Grand Bassa County, Prince Wamplu, and find out what's going on in Grand Bassa County this morning on the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1. And We like to take it easy here, I mean.
And on the second segment today,
on the second segment,
Imam Ali Cry.
Imam Ali Cry, he will be our guest. They are firing Imam, and we'll ask him all of the hard questions this morning because it's been a while he appeared on a radio station.
Yeah.
And so there are lots in stock for us to ask him this morning. All right, folks, this is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1. Our man Prince Yukon J. Wamplu is on the line. Let's get to Prince Wamplu this morning and speak with him. Good morning, Prince. Good morning.
Good morning, Fidel. Good morning, Dennis, and good morning to our many listeners.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How is Buchanan City?
Well, Buchanan City this morning is quiet. Like we normally tour with the breeze of the Atlantic Ocean and enjoying all of the beaches around here, giving a good atmosphere this morning. The trees are waving their branches, and the smiles are restored on the faces of the Bassa people. Okay,
that's good. And how is the weather like? Did it rain last night?
Yeah, last night was off and down process and not more than 4 or 5 hours process, but there was a drip of rain last night.
Okay, that's good. Now tell us, what is the trending issue in Grand Bassa County? But before we get to that, how is the political atmosphere like? We've received news that it seems like Jeremiah Kung will be the man who they consider as Rescue 2 for a unity party. How are the people of Grand Bassa County receiving the news?
That's correct, Fidel, and this news being greeted with more anger from the faces of Liberty Partisan, from the faces of some Unity Partisan here in Grand Bassa County, and they are taken to the major intellectual centers and away on the social media platform and pages, trying to send us links against the former vice president and currently the head of the Unity Party, that his election appears to be against the Bassa will. People are saying that there have been too much of effort being made by the Senator of Grand Bassa County, Senator Nyomikanga Lawrence, and in their mind, there's a need for gender parity as it relates to the politics in our country. Therefore, there was a need for a female candidate to be included on his ticket. Though this is not officially confirmed until Friday, like the former vice president said, posted that he will announce that, but the atmosphere here is not greeting the decision as expected, and that we're hearing as a Roman decision from the former vice president.
So they are very angry that their daughter was not chosen, or is potentially, or would not potentially be chosen.
Correct. Remember when the news came out first, and when the senator was in the United States of America, and this news started to pop out, there were clues that it had already been taking place at Mayakun. But later on, her effort, when she returned her effort in organizing a unity tournament in Grand Bassa County, caring for her own folks, attending some international stuff on behalf of Grand Bassa County, that was a way of getting the popularity. But again, it fell on fertile soil. And now it is the Madi. So Nima County, what we are seeing, has defeated Grand Bassa into the political race as relates to pairing. Because this is the second time this will happen when that is confirmed on Friday. At some point in time, it was Waisaka Milton Finney, and this time around it's in the Nyomikanga Lawrence. So there is a very different picture how the Liberty Partisan or the opposition in Grand Bassa County are now doing the Unity Party.
Okay, we wish them all the best, and we're looking forward to Friday as all of us are really waiting to hear what the former vice president says. But let's hear what is the major issue there in Grand Bassa as far as your reportage is concerned.
Well, we some months ago, Fidel, we like to do our follow on the stories. Some months ago, we told you that the Civil Society Council raised an issue on the issue of the washing plant being transferred from Grand Bassa to Nima County. We spoke to some lawmakers as well, and this time around again, the public championing the cause and raising the issue that the transfer of the washing plant from Buchanan Pier, the previous MDA discussion that should have been built in Grand Bassa County instead of in Nima County. Now, Representative Thomas Alexander Goswa is now currently supporting the Civil Society Council of Grand Bassa County in a course calling for a proper discussion on why there was the transfer of this washing plant from Grand Bassa to Nima County. So on the 23rd of April, there was a meeting, the Civil Society Council here with local leaders of the county, and they raised the issue again. But it takes us back to 2012 when the collective bargaining agreement was signed, and that was the moment that this particular process was transferred. And so the leaders of the county were then in power, and these are the questions that's coming from some of the civil society actors. Those leaders of Bassa were in power at the time to be questioned why this particular decision that was expected to produce more job for Basodians and now transfer to data for Nema County. This is what we ask relates to the training issues from the citizens of Grand Bassa County.
Okay, and the retreat, the special meeting that is organized by the president for his cabinet ministers, heads of SOEs and agencies, have been concluded in Grand Bassa.
Correct. Somebody will consider it not a full end from the schedule, but it's the president we're talking about here. So the president called a retreat, and instead of the 3 days, it came to a 2 days process, and we know the other issue will be solved by those who are left on ground. But the president ended the entire, as a presiding officer, in the entire process. But yet, while this current that took place there, and from the interview we conducted from your people there, what is happening is that the president wasn't looking at the May retreat here in Ganta and looking at some of the reports, how they have made gains or not. Those areas that there were no positive results, there's a need for additional efforts to be made. And with the remaining 5 months in office, what can it do to better lives of the people of Liberia, owing to the proper agenda that they sold to the people of Liberia during the election, and which they bought, for which they elected of President George Manawia. So he's looking at that is key, because that's where his promise lies as it relates to developing the livelihood of the people of Liberia. So yes, the retreat ended, but for the Bassa women, especially in the Zoka market area, they benefited from the president's visit, because they were complaining, they were crying on the issue where they were to be taken from their market on ground that the businessmen have bought the entire area. And the president intervened and spoken to the business person that he will take charge of what was paid, and so that the market women can continue. And they were indeed chanting praises of President George Manawia.
Okay, and the churches also benefited as well.
That's correct. Churches benefited. John said zinc and plastic chairs as well, and that's a gesture from the president.
Thank you so much, Prince. It was nice having you on the program this morning.
Always a pleasure, Fidel.
Okay, it's our man Prince Yukonje Wamplo from Grand Bassa County. Let's move to Margibi quickly. We'll be very snappy this morning. There are lots of things to talk about. We try to be very snappy this morning. Go to our main workout period in Margibi County, where
Kakatonians.
the Kakatonians are, and he said there's media war. Well, he's a politician, and the man is a politician. He's actually in beef with a journalist. That's just exactly what it is. Let's go to our man Tio. Workout Kerry. I want to say Tio Workout. Workout Kerry, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Whether you say Tio Workout or Workout Kerry, it fits.
Okay.
I am doing good and fine this morning.
That's good. How is Kakata City?
I just last night to experience heavy downfall of rain. And this morning the weather is clumsy, and the heavy cold is blowing. But notwithstanding, the Kakatonians and the Margibians, especially the student communities, the business communities, the motorcyclists, the drivers, the marketers are all lined up in the various streets, at least to try to make ends meet.
What is of relevance that we need to hear from Kakata City this morning?
Well, it's just that this gone Monday, April 24th, the 6th graders of the various schools in Margibi County finished yesterday their WAEC. And today, as we speak, April 26th, is the day for the 3rd graders to also start their honor WAEC. So as we're speaking right now, they are lined up and queue in the various centers to go and take their WAEC. And funnily enough, interestingly enough, the parents that I spoke to that are escorting these students, they said they are really baffled as to how the education system is going in the country, because WAEC is meant for 9th grade and 12th grade students. But interestingly enough, they said 3rd graders and 6th graders to take WAEC. Reason being, they are not knowledgeable enough even to demonstrate the education system at that level is somehow difficult. But notwithstanding, they in support of the government agenda, and they praying that their students and their children attempting the WAEC will come out with good results.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have to leave it at that, Workout. Thank you so much for getting in contact with us this morning.
Thank thank you so much for the media battle between the two guys. You know, when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. So it's on and it's on. But notwithstanding, the county information officer, Joe Benson Josiah, and that of other stakeholders are trying their possible best, at least to mitigating the conflict.
Okay, we hope that our conflict is mitigated as well. Thank you so much, Walker.
Thank you. It is my pleasure.
Okay, Walker Kerry there in Margibi County. Like I said, we'll be very snappy this morning. Let's get to Bond County and speak with our man Nathan Colley in Bond County. Find out what's going there. Trying to rush the flow this morning on the program. The Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1 with me, Fidel Sadie and Denise Nipsey. Let's get to our man Nathan Colley this morning in Bond County and know what's happening in Banga, the central part of Liberia. We are told that the young senatorial aspirant Johnny Quay is making inroads in parts of Bond County. Our man Nathan Colley is on the line. Good morning, Nathan.
Yes, good morning, Honorable Manager, and good morning to your co-host,
Good morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is Banga City?
Banga City is relatively calm, and last night we experienced a huge downpour of rain last night.
Have we not received news of casualty in any part of the country as yet?
Not exactly.
Okay.
At
No.
this moment.
Okay. What is the trending issue in that part of the country?
Yesterday, the National Patriotic Party and the Coalition for Democratic Change officially launched the biometric voter registration with some they chanted members of the ANC joined with the coalition in Banga.
So let me get this clear. Members of the NPP, partisans of the NPP and the CDC, they've embarked on an awareness campaign. Is that the case? And they've been joined by folks from ANC.
And giving the overview of the process, the NPP, the vice chair for the recruitment of the NPP itself, the person was meant to for citizens to take part of the current BVR process in the country. And it was surprising that because some members, the regional coordinator for the ANC, Mr. Jema and Solo, he said they have been being chanted over the years. So they have declared their support to the CDC for President Joe. We are re-election comes out towards him for this year.
Okay, that's good. So is joint effort intended to educate the citizens of Bond County?
Of course, yeah. And the vice president also there. She the current the standard bearer of the NPP, and they received the statement from the certified ANC member and the national chairperson of the NPP, former representative councillor George Sebete Mora. Also, there were MOU that was signed yesterday, and according to the national chairperson, councillor George Sebete Mora in the law, like he said, upon the agreement, nobody should back up, because anybody make the intent to back up, is going to take a liquid stay in the process on yesterday. And it was not easy yesterday because you have a lot of facilities, and especially the ANC, some of the ranking members to join the coalition was a surprising thing yesterday in the country.
Okay, that's good. All right, thank you so much, my brother. It was nice having you on the program this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, he's our man Nathan Colley there from Bond County. Let's run to Nimba County quickly and speak with Joseph Kekula. Joseph Kekula is in Nimba County. Let's find out what's going on in Nimba County. The Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1 this morning. Joseph Kekula is the man we're trying to get in contact with, but hope we get him as early as we want to this morning on the program. At 9 o'clock, we play host to Chief Imam of Liberia, Ali Krai. He'll be our guest on the program this morning on the second segment of the program on ABC Radio 105.1. And tomorrow we have another guest. Of course, we'll disclose the name of that guest to you later this morning. But this is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1. Seems like we can get Joseph. Let's run straight to Lofa County and speak with our man Samuel Bole in Lofa County. Quickly, trying to make use of time right now. No time to waste. No time to waste. Okay, trying to get Samuel Bole in Lofa County, the bread basket. Then this Lofa State, the bread basket, or that thing ever since skin. Ever since none of blah.
Ever since.
None of blah.
Blah.
I don't know how you create. I mean, these guys create these kinds of jargons, and these jargons stay with us, and we use them. I mean, yeah, but that's it. So we can get Samuel again. But Dennis, we have to call it a day right here. But let's run to the southeastern part of Liberia.
Sure.
Sino County quickly, and speak with our man from Sino County this morning, Elijah Grendo. Let's hear what Elijah has got from Sino County. Sino County, Elijah Grendo, trying to get him this morning. But again, something happened on yesterday that we will talk about this morning. But let's get to our man Elijah Grendo from Sino County. Good morning, Elijah. How is the southeastern part of Liberia?
Well, good morning, Vidas, and good morning, Maserati.
You seem lacking of energy this morning. The cold beat you or what, Elijah?
You're not that clear, you know?
I said the cold. You see, you bow away. You sound not energetic.
Well, I think you are right, because we are having a kind of wet weather in Greenville this morning.
Okay, but let's go straight to the issue. What is of importance that we need to know from Sino?
Well, so as it takes now, like, you may be, aware the government of Liberia, in partnership with UNIDO, is building multilateral centers, vocational center across the country, and Sano happened to be one of the counties that receive the gesture from UNIDO.
Mm-hmm.
So they get completed with the vocational training center, and they have the turning over ceremony yesterday to the administration of the Sino Multilateral High School and the local Ministry of Education in Sino. And the program was graced by key stakeholders in Sino to name the Office of the County Superintendent were being represented. The Office of the County Education Officer. We have NGOs and other INGOs that attended the turning over ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And there was various statements coming from diverse institutions, but for what we capture, the principal of Sino Multilateral High School,
Mm-hmm.
in person of Mr. Peter Lawrence, he thanks the donors for that gesture. And in fact, he was quick to know that UNIDO had given multilateral status to the Sino Multilateral High School, as it is being called.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a statement because he claimed over the time the school were only running the academic aspect, meaning chemistry, biology, they have the various classes.
Mm-hmm.
But for the TVET program, they were not able to run the TVET program because of the lacking of the facility and the equipment to have the institution being run as a multilateral high school.
Mm-hmm.
So he expressed great thanks to the donors and encourage the student community to make use of the multilateral center. Equally so, you need to, through that spokesperson, inform the public that the facility that will turn over, they are also encouraging a non-going school person, be a Sano citizen or you are not a Sano citizen,
to take advantage of the facility.
To make use of the vocational center so that at least tomorrow you can be self-employed and help build this country.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Elijah. It was nice speaking with you this morning.
Thank you, and it is always my pleasure being on this platform.
Okay, this is our man Elijah Grendel from Sino County. This is good news, Dennis. Very good news for the people of Sino County. I mean, there's no reason why my brothers and sisters in Sino County will not be able to go to school again. They will not be able to get employment with the companies that are operating in the county. All they need to do is sacrifice a bit of their time and go to school, acquire vocational education, and be able to work in those areas. But this is good news. Kudos to the government of Liberia and the organization that's responsible for ensuring that that vocational institution was constructed in Sino County. All right, let's go straightly to Lofa County. Our man Samuel Bole is now on the line. Good morning, Samuel.
Yeah, good morning. Let me say good morning to our entire listener. Lofa is okay and everything is moving on gradually.
That's good. What is the latest we need to hear from Lofa?
Well, when it comes to the latest activities, in Kwaba City, on the day before, let's say on Saturday, where there was the Holy Puri, according to one motorcycle, he said he struggled a lot to be a horse. And according to him, his wife letting the fire, and there was a one drum in the horse. Instead of then taking his own time to let the fire, he took some of those gas to see how he can place it in the copper with the coal to see how he can start the fire automatically when the fire blazes off and the horse gets burned to the ashes. He becomes serious concern, and later he said, well, he had to pay his wife. Become matter of fact, there's now so much struggle to
So the real story is, Samuel, that a man killed his wife because she allegedly
he attempted.
He attempted.
Said,
okay.
He didn't kill his wife. Yeah, he said anyway. He see the woman, he was going to kill the woman, but the police had to do some intervention, and the family member took the woman and carried the woman to the rescue area where the people started talking to him. Well, matter of fact, similar thing can happen. Thank God said nobody left in the fire. Thank God the life is there, all the material that was there, even according to him, they have the asusu money, everything was in the building, everything got point, and that was some of the team, but other politicians are talking to him to cool down to see how they can come to a deal. But it's very frustrating. Other community members really share tears with him when it comes to the struggle he took to really pull out that bidding, and it is completed, and I even make a year this incident will call.
Okay. So, I mean, has he cooled off or he has promised to cool off? Which is which?
Yeah, we tried to talk to him yesterday when we visited to an area. He said, seriously, he just living for nothing now because he don't have any other means to do, even if those are saying that he should cool down, if the people can come in for that thing or to cool down, but he don't have anything to say it. But matter of fact, he is seriously frustrated. He don't even know where to start off. Not talking about the building and about the people money, and we questioning whether he have the total amount. He said he can't show the total amount. Said those people will be the God-fearing president because including all the documents they were giving the money to him to keep it, including all the documents got burned. He don't know whether some of them will kind of say that the money they were giving him was 50,000. Some of them will say 100,000. Only those that will be the God-fearing president to come and get it actual money they were giving to him, because if you get $10 a day or you get $100 a day, they could mark it in the book. But everything got burned, including the money.
Okay, thank you so much, Samuel. Any other thing we need to know?
And the final one now is Puya is getting heated day by day. Like last night we spent the night there, where a bunch of group were passing around. Some of them did it from all angles to angle. I see all people surrounding me group. They will start speaking Kishi. If you don't speak the Kishi, they will have some coins, and they say, well, you were truck from different area to Foya to register. And otherwise saying, well, that is not the case. Other people here for any easy work. Others try from all angles are here for anywhere. Also, some of the business people can come here not only for registration aspect. It becomes a serious concern. And I try to get to the county's, the statutory superintendent of William Tambasandi, and William Tambasandi gave strong warning to the various radio station that some of those issues that really coming up is very concerning about the media people. They are not preaching the rightful message to the world. Matter of fact, so all the media people are engaged in the political activities, where he captioned the community radio Tambatiko to be the radio station of the former vice president, and also other radio station for the coordination for democratic change. He said, if you are supporting your candidate, it's good to just preach good thing about your candidate and leave the image of the district.
Okay, thank you so much, Samuel. We have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for being in contact with us.
All right, thank you, and I'm always available.
Okay, that's it right here this morning on the
Morning Breeze.
Morning Breeze, the correspondent, a call-in segment from our correspondents across the country. We have to let it go right now. Where do we go right now, Dennis? You're controlling the proceedings of things, but let's place a call to Elton John. Elton Jones is the head of Bokon Jide Group of Companies. They've been around for 15 years, Dennis.
Okay.
And it's a Liberian business. Just to add, and they've been doing tremendously well in terms of maintaining the business from one point to another. You know, the different hurdles that are involved in operating a business in Liberia. Yeah, and they've thrived, and 15 years is not a small joke. That is what they've done, and we thought to throw light on this Liberian business because they are our partner here. Besides, they are a Liberian business that has operated for that period of time. I mean, they may have he may have some secret to what he's done over the time, and we thought to speak with him this morning to congratulate him for such a great feat, and that not only is it a business, the kind of business they are in is helping a lot of Liberians. You know, Denise, every day we got problems in our different lives, right?
Sure.
And sometimes you want get some kind of quick money to settle some kind of problem, and you know, it's not easy. All right, it's not easy. You must have somewhere that you can go to easily to get money.
So
I mean,
small
cash quickly. And so they are involved into this macro loan thing, and they are at various ministries and agencies of government. So if you're working with some kind of ministry or agency, and you know your money can go through the bank, all you need to do is just get to Bokon Jide, and get in contact with them at Bokon Jide, and you can get the loan in less than no time. Just be able to. I mean, there are prerequisites that they have. That you have to follow. Once you meet those prerequisites, obviously you are definitely given the loan with no hassle. So this is a good business, and we thought that because of the current situation that we have in our country, these kinds of businesses are helping. I mean, somebody sick, your child sick, for example, you don't take pay from government here because the money in here. So you go to Bokon Jide, you take loan, and I mean, they help you. If you want to open a business for yourself, just go there, you take the loan. If you want to construct your structure and what have you, and but we'll get to Elton. It seems like his call is not going through, but we thought to highlight this a bit, and for the sake of our audience. But let's go to this issue that happened on yesterday, Dennis, at the Logan Town area, Lefoko. Look, we've spoken about the issue of security in this country and the way motorbikes, yeah, tricycles, motorbikes. I mean, the way some of these individuals, we took sufficient time yesterday to encourage our brothers and sisters who are involved in this keke and motorbiking, how they can elevate themselves and how to build their own capacity. We spent sufficient time on it, and the essence of us doing that was to, get their minds from this commission of crime. I mean, crimes that are not even, no crime necessary though, but some stupid crime that they can do. I mean, and it caused the loss of lives. Now, yesterday, we got report, and we had to dispatch one of our reporters on the scene, where two Fulani individuals were getting their money. We are told from the bank, according to our witnesses, they got their money from the bank, and they were taking it at their business center, all right? And they were in broad daylight, hijacked by armed robbers. Broad daylight. They were armed robbed by those who, I think they were on back or something.
Sure.
Yeah, back armed robbers in broad daylight. And it led to the death of the keke rider. The keke rider died on the spot. Then they found the name of that keke rider. I think I have it right here. The keke rider died on the spot. They shot him because they were calling the keke rider. They kept telling the men to stop. Apparently, they had received tip off, or because sometimes these guys are parked at the entrances of banks to see the movement of people. So they see people coming outside with cartoon. They believe that these people have money in that cartoon. So they set their their trap somewhere. Or apparently they received tip off that these people were coming out of the bank with money, cartoons of money. And so they started telling the people up to the Lepfoko area, where they started telling from Lokintown all the way Lokintown. Start telling the boy to stop. The keke men, stop that back, or stop that keke. The men refused to stop. Apparently, because the keke rider himself understood, that those people have money with them, and so he did not stop. Or because out of defiance, he did not see the need to stop, and so he was going. The keke rider is Samuel King.
Yeah, King. That's
Samuel King. Samuel S. King is the keke rider.
Yeah, a young guy.
A young guy, promising young man who's doing his hustle to cater for his own needs because of the current situation we have. He was killed in cold blood by these individuals, armed robbers. They killed this young man. That is the degree of insecurity that we have in our country, Denise. And we continue to speak about this. Even though we appreciate the job that some of these back riders do, some of these keke riders do, but if the government can start to restrict these people, these people were restricted some time ago. They were told the routes to go. For some reason, this current administration said, okay, mama, you can't enter anytime, you can't enter. Because some of these police officers have motorbikes running.
Yeah.
And because they have these bikes running, they do not have the moral right to stop other bikes from coming to town because they have their own bikes plying the streets. So it has created a sense of insecurity to the extent where someone has to lose their life. Because these people are running from here to there. They have no restriction. They were initially told to run from, these inner junctions. Community roads. From the other junction here to go inside. That was the route. But now they are coming to Central Monrovia. The insecurity that is hovering over this nation as a result of the uncontrollable nature and movement of these back riders is something that the government has to do something about. I know we are in political times, and the Motorcyclist Union seems to be one of those unions that is populated. They have votes. So it is difficult for a politician to take harsh decisions against these individuals. But that cannot be done at the detriment of the security of your citizens.
Sure.
That is what we have at hand, Dennis.
Yes, and
it's sad.
Yes, like you said, it's very sad that such a situation will be happening, and this speaks to the fact that whenever people talk about the issue of insecurity in the country, because we have these motorbikes riders who do things anyhow, and there's no restriction these days. There's nothing like ensuring that they do not ply the major routes, and they go about doing their own thing. And it is so scary that now the criminals are using the backs, to carry on their acts. So I think the need for the security force, the police, to institute a measure that can, curtail this situation is important, because these are some of the things, and as it relates to accident, all of that, there's a restriction on motorbikes, coming on the main road, and it was something that the former administration fought against, that to ensure that they do not come on the main road. And again, we are seeing these things happening. And this time around, they are doing it rampantly in terms of snatching people's bags, carrying on and criminal acts on them. And not only with the situation on yesterday, I also got a report from the Congo Town end. That is the area around the Spoon Communication Network, that road from the Congo Town, where the Unity Party had their old party headquarters. We learned that a lady was also shot there on the road while waiting for car in the morning, and they wanted her bag and also that, and she, they did that to her in the process. So this is something that is scary, and the need for the security sector to be on their guard, it is important. LNP, Patrick Sudu, Though people will say these things can happen, but there's a way to ensure that these things is not on the increase. It's not on the increase. We continue to see motorbikes, riders snatching people bags on the main route. They are there. They just go about. Can the LMP work with the motorcyclist union? Can they work with the various groupings to ensure how, those who are getting bags, they are registered and know their character? Because these things, it is somehow alarming that will have these things happening. Someone leaves perhaps from a place where they went to do business, or they are going, and you have people tailing their own bike. And there's something again that is coming in our society. It has been there for some time. Someone will get attacked, and you see people just standing by. They have nobody watching. Nobody want to come to their rescue. I don't know, it's out of fear or what have you. And sometimes people will just be there. But at the end of the day, what they are concerned about is to take pictures. Take pictures.
Do videos.
Yeah, while you could have maybe 3-4 people coming up to that person who is attacking that person to lend help to them. So it is important. Our security matters, and it is important that the LMP ensure that that's their duty to perform that, and there's no if and but about that. So the LMP needs to ensure that yes, indeed, this thing is curtailed. If the motorbikes rider who are applying a major route are causing this problem, please ensure that the people keep into the community. And also into the community there should be security.
Exactly.
Because there are people in the community as well that need security. So the issue about security in this country, Fidel, is a serious issue, and there's a lot government needs to do about that. They need to ensure how best they can help to mitigate a situation like this.
Now, Dennis, interestingly, I went to it was somewhere around 11 o'clock. I was coming from the upper Caldwell end. There's a police station in Caldwell. Denise, it will amaze you to know that at that hour of the night, you know what they did? They chained the police station and they lock it. A police station is closed. Like school. They chain the nobody is out. They close the police station. Nobody there.
They go home.
I thought it was a joke. I stopped. I got down. I walked there to make sure, because I knew I would have talked about this some point in time. The police station was closed. The door was sealed. Locked. Police station. We're supposed to be open 24/7. In a community like Caldwell, the police station was closed. It was locked. But checking the street at night, do you see any police officer?
Not at
You
all.
don't.
Not
You
at all.
don't. Now, it's not an issue of capacity. It's an issue of the police making sure that there's a presence of police officers doing night hours in the streets of Monrovia.
Sure.
It is their duty. Look, crimes are committed everywhere around the world. Nobody should deceive you. Crimes are committed everywhere around the world. But you know what these countries do? They put in place measures that will curb the commission of crimes.
Yeah.
You do not leave it open like that to
Yeah.
say, okay, but crime can happen everywhere. So we enforce the post security. Even post security, the crime will happen.
Yeah.
It is your duty to protect lives and properties. If you have incapacity issue, you have to tell us. Again, like we told the Drug Enforcement Agency, we are not magicians to know whether you have issues in your various agencies.
Yeah.
You have to tell us. If we don't know, we will hold you responsible. We will not hold central government responsible for you not doing your job. It is your responsibility to protect lives and properties. So if you are not doing your job, it is your responsibility to tell us why you are not doing your job, so that we can impose on or impress on the various agencies of, structures of government that are responsible for giving you what you need to have.
Yeah.
So I say that right now, we will hold Patrick Sudo and his police, deputy police for operations responsible, because they have not been able to control the movement of motorcyclists in this country. It has led to deaths. It continues to lead to the damaging of properties. Just hit one back man mistakenly and see how they will gang up against you as a driver.
Yeah.
But they easily scrape your car and run away. You want to them say they can cost you.
Yeah.
That is how it is right now. Now, that poor boy that was doing a lay hustle, those people killed him free.
Yeah.
Because we not get security anywhere. If you had well-trained officers around, even from that place to Zumwan, there's no distance there. But who willing to raise their life, even police officers, to come on the scene? It's because of this whole same thing about morale. there is no morale in the police force like it is with the armed forces of Liberia, like it is with the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. Morale has disappeared. And let me tell you what gives rise to morale. If people are taking pay on time, they have logistics to work with, they have operational funds to work with, there will be morale in any kind of environment. But because these things are not available, so there's no morale. There must be something that will make you risk your life to execute your duty. You know why you come here early in the morning to come to work? Denise, you work through, even rain to come to work. It's not that it's bread and butter, but you know the environment is perfect that you can work in. That is why you take that risk to come to work. So if there's not an enabling environment that will make you do your job, you will see these things happening. Who's responsible to do that? The police RG, the deputy police director for operations. These are individuals that are responsible for the smooth operations of the police. So if that is not happening and we are witnessing this degree of insecurity, that is why we said, while we are going through this election process, there is a need that while we continue to talk to the consciences of our people, we're begging you, please be peaceful. You don't be violent. Because anything, if violence erupts in this country, we do not have the capacity to contain that.
Yeah.
Even if you bring AFL in, we not get capacity. These people will be overwhelmed. So that is the issue we have. So the police, the Liberian National Police, through Colonel Patrick Sudu, you need to do something. We can see these guys running the streets of Monrovia, people bags getting snatched, people getting killed. They are terrorizing the various communities because they have bags. There are people who are using these bags responsibly. At the same time, there are others who are using these bags irresponsibly.
Yeah.
And these are the irresponsible people that you have to get on.
There's a need. There's a need for him to do that along with his deputies, and the need to ensure that the country is peaceful in terms of security is important, because he cannot be discussing a peace in the absence of security. People are not secure at their various places. They get on the street, they are worried, and all of that. And two key important issues that you need to talk about is, you talk about your health and you talk about security of the country. There's a need for those two points to be very much taken care of. And if the people don't have security, at the end of the day, everyone will not have peace, because there will be in your
house, you worry.
Yes, worry. People leaving from the street sooner, and
then I'm not interrupting. Yeah. Have you noticed that people leave Monrovia very early?
Very much.
The streets are not packed. Only some of us who have extra jobs to do. I mean, like in town, we're forced to be here late at night. Yeah. That us can be here.
Sure.
But the way the town used to be, where people used to stay on in town by way, it can't happen again.
Yeah.
Because of insecurity.
And it is saddening that we will have such a situation like this. And others will come in the country the way, people leave from the streets sooner because of security reasons. And this is not good for our country. The need for Patrick Sudu to ensure that they beef up their work, their effort, their strength in terms of what they do, it is important.
Very important.
If you are not supported, there's a need that you say it, Fidel. There's a need that Patrick Sudu said that, because it is very much important. And when these kind of things happen, I hear people always, referring to that interview I did with the president, that he said there's no security, the CC camera, and all of that. So everyone tend to put that now. The president say no security. Everybody should be their own security.
So the security people say relax now.
Everybody should be their own security.
And the president say
everybody should be their own security, and that is wrong. That shouldn't be happening in our country. The security sector, the security personnel should be able to do their work. The only thing you see most often our security, the LNP doing, whenever they have their checkpoints and things, they will tell you what you got for the officer, what you have for the officer, what you got for the officer. Even at night, 10 p.m., if they pull their gates down, the only thing, when they ask all the officers in the code, the TO, and all of that, that speaks to the fact that perhaps the government is not doing what they should be doing. The government is not taking care of the security as well. So the need for the government to be sincere, in their plight or their fight to ensure that this country has the best security that we need, that the lives and property of the people, are protected, is to ensure that we have good security. And every time I listen to the president, he will say, we talk about peace, I'm a man of peace, and I'm a man of this. And peace in the absence of security it's a problem.
Which is the first line
Yes,
of justice.
if you're talking about peace, okay, political actors should, come together. People who are on the other side should unite, should proffer peace. If they are proffering peace, the ordinary people as well should be at peace in their homes.
Exactly.
They should be at peace. They shouldn't wake up in the morning or at night. They're coming from work, then they are scared, they're jittering. How will they come home? How will they get in taxi because they are afraid somebody will snatch their bag? Somebody would, carry on passenger 57, or Zogos are in the street. When they go on the street, Zogo there to check their bag. And all of that, it is not good for a civilized society like this. We agree these things can happen all around the world, but the need to curtail it is important. So it is important that the security work. It is important that our government do the needful to support the security sector, to ensure that what they need to operate, they get that. Let's agree it cannot happen 100%. You cannot give all, but you can give what is needed to carry on a job.
Dennis, as far as we know, as per public knowledge, the security sector is being well supported. We have not heard them complaining as yet. The security sector is well supported by this government. It is because of the incompetence and lack of sincerity to the state. That is why these people are complaining. That is why the underlings are complaining. That is why there's lack of motivation in the sector. Look, you cannot, and you see, sometimes when we're talking these things, it appears like we are targeting a specific individual. I continue to reference Samuel Tue and the LRA boss, Thomas Dona. These are people who control the movements and the movements of cash in our country. The fiscal policy of this country is being implemented by the Minister of Finance. All right. So if there are issues within agencies of government, it is the responsibility of the Minister of Finance. It is the because I know people collecting out. Thomas Donane doing well. They're collecting plenty of money. But the real problem here is we don't know where the money are going, because these same people, even though we've not heard about the LNP, we've not heard from them whether they are supported or not, but there are ministries and agencies that have complained about lack of support. So if these people, we're collecting plenty of money to be able to fund our budget, then why are these people complaining? Where the money going? You understand?
Yeah.
So the security sector will not be as vibrant as it is if they are not adequately supported. And we know we cannot clearly state whether they are not supported. We will say that their responsibility, that the police responsibility, that why we're in a situation that we're in, that why people can go to bay soon, that why when you go to bay, your one eyeball open because you don't know who a boss into your house,
exactly,
and harm
you.
How many communities, even in communities that there's the operations of police stations, how many of those police officers are able to come and rescue you when armed robbers on you?
Yeah.
We are Dennis.
Seriously.
0777 105
And before we take calls, the issue about this countryman.
Yes.
I think he.
Dennis, look, and I almost forgot, but Dennis reminded me. Look, let me say this to you, my people. There are two brothers. One works with the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, MacArthur Hilton. The other is resident in the United States. He's back and forth from America to Liberia. Now, here's the funny thing. Few years ago, they operated as, they are brothers, by the way. I think some kind of thing allowed, MacArthur Hilton to change the name from Nimne. The other guy is Dr. Thomas Nimne. All right. He and MacArthur Hilton, all right, they are brothers, blood brothers. They've been operating like real brothers in the past.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why brothers split, Dennis. So MacArthur Hilton was resident in Liberia. He's resident in Liberia. His brother was in the States. His brother usually sent him cars, to sell, do business and what have you. Of course, that's business purpose.
Yes.
And so he's a working man, by the way. But your brother trusts you now and sending cards to you. So his brother has been sending him cards. So his brother came back to Liberia and decided to do a project in Liberia. So he sent this car for his brother to use as for the project's sake and, going here and there. So you my sister now, you give me something. Yeah. As far as concerned, that thing for me. Because although that your project are operating on, but you give it to me, I don't need your permission to say Denise. Oh, I'm gonna take the car and put so and so thing on it. So MacArthur Hilton decided to put Countryman on this pickup, which became like a brand name for MacArthur Hilton. So everyone in District 11 started calling MacArthur Hilton Countryman. But then MacArthur Hilton decided that, okay, I want to contest in District number 11, Monserrado County.
Okay.
So MacArthur Hilton expressed his desire. So he started working in District 11, doing different things like the way others do. So this brother now, Thomas Niminen, they say he doctor. We'll check behind that doctor go. Thomas Niminen.
Yeah, Niminen.
Yeah, he decided that he also wants to contest. Oh, but Denizo, your brother said he won't be represented in the same district. Yeah, you too.
You won't be represented.
You won't be represented. I mean, just look at it. You see, the thing they call family ties is very important. Thomas Niminen decided he wanted to be represented. He not stop there. The name that MacArthur Hilton was using, that people know him by in District 11, Countryman,
that the name
he started using too. But you know the one thing he do to change it? He say he need original Countryman. Because MacArthur Hilton need Countryman. So he be original Countryman. Then it's that in another witchcraft behavior. Your brother won't be represented. The same district your brother won't be represented in.
It's the same district you have.
That the same district you say you won't be represented in. You not start there. He need that he using that people know him by. It almost like the way we know him by Cool Queen. Yeah, Denise a Cool Queen. Then one time your sister just look at it, she say, "My new Cool Queen too."
Yeah.
Then you won't be this person. She say, "I won't be the person too."
Yeah.
See that kind of then witchcraft behavior there.
That's bad.
So he get her, he say he need original Countryman.
And especially he has the resources, the money.
That is there. So because Denise sister get the money, and man you know that Denise small sister there.
Yeah.
That MacArthur Hilton small brother.
One brother.
But because he get money, he say nah, my new original. Let that brother go one side. He say he need original Countryman. So because he expressed intention to contest, his brother said, "But brother, I contesting. How you want contest too?" He get there. The car that he get a man to use to build a horse, all he horse says, you take the car from the man. He said the man will give it to him. He issue code, order on the man. They go to the man horse when the man was not even home. They say they wanted the car from the man horse. But well, ain't get a car to the man to do your project, even though the project finished. But because you didn't have problem with you were having car all the while, but because the man said you can't be represented, oh my brother, I'm contesting in the district. Why you won't contest in the district to you there? You say give my car to me. That the kind of thing the man start doing. Worst of all, Denise, the man who born them, the man say, my children, the thing you're doing, you need to stop.
Yeah.
The man who get the money say, Mama, we can't listen to you. Even Bishop Kuku,
yeah,
the man of God, try to intervene in the plow and say, look, the thing you're doing, you are brothers.
Yeah.
You're not be at each other through because of politics. You're reconciled.
Especially your big brother started it. So, sometimes just say, okay, let me give chance to my big brother.
And the thing is, the big brother ready to reconcile. MacArthur Hilton ready to reconcile. But Thomas Niminen said, no, I can't reconcile. Now, that is their family issue. This is where my point is, Denise. One of the issues that we have with governance in our country is because of leaders' inability to even make peace with those they've contested with, who they've defeated in elections. They tell people, be gracious in defeat and be gracious in winning. In this case, we've not found a winner or a loser. But the fact that your brother wants to reconcile with you, and there's an intervention from your mother, an intervention from a man of God, and you are still refusing to reconcile with your brother, what does that say about your leadership qualities? What does that say about your leadership qualities?
It speaks volume.
It speaks volume. That you cannot reconcile with your brother, your blood brother. You cannot reconcile. How fit are you to lead a district of over 30,000 persons? How fit are you? How are you capable of reconciling a district that will be divided after elections? How capable are you? You want to be representative. How capable are you? So these things are very important when we are looking at traits of individuals who should be leaders. Those are things we should look at. We've been, conducting investigation on this matter. They countrymen, original countrymen thing. MacArthur Hilton is your brother. Dr. Thomas Nimine, that your brother here. Find means to reconcile with this man. Two of y'all want contest? That's your business.
There's no need for you people going
y'all
to
gotta be at each other's
going to court or wanting to go to court and all of that. Family don't engage into that, you know.
You are in politics. You should have a soft spot, especially for your brother. Now, if you can't reconcile with your brother, you can't. Then that you won't be leader. That you just say the moment representative. Imagine the people that you will be in election. How you will treat them. People who will not support you. How you will treat them. Those are the things that matter. Those are the things that people should look at when even deciding to elect people to represent them.
Sure.
In my mind, Thomas Nimine, Dr. Thomas Nimine has not shown magnanimity. He has not shown, that spirit of wanting to reconcile with his brother. Now, for us not to make it like our making, the woman who born two of them, we got interview here for her. Well, play that thing, Smith. Play the woman who born two of them. Say I'm trying to make the people then come to, but stay the original countryman Thomas. Nimine. He not still won't reconcile with his brother. That's how it is. Let's play that thing here for you to understand. And I almost forgot. Thank you, Dennis, for reminding me.
I don't know internet what you can be doing. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So I said Dr. Nimine Tue is doubting that the voice is not a man's voice. He said, he said, and not you saying that.
Oh, so what, how you want my voice to look like? Because one other man called me.
That a man talking, you. That a man talking.
I'm aware of it. I said, yes, I'm aware of it. I'm the one talking. So what it means? Put me on recording. Record me again. My name is Ruth Popa Nimle. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm speaking from Los Angeles right now.
Denise, you woman. And you know how you can hear any mother?
Mike Arthur and Thomas. I'm the mother of them.
Okay.
I'm the one talking. Yes.
So yeah, let's get it straight. Okay. So you're the mother of Dr. Nimine Tue as well. Thomas Nimine Tue.
Yes. I'm the mother. I'm the one born then. I'm the one born Mike Arthur Hilton, and I'm the one born Dr. Thomas Nimine Tue. I'm the one.
The man there. Your man tell you to do something, Denise. And you know how you can hear?
Sure.
And Thomas is the 10th child. So he's not even next to Arthur. I'm the mother, Ruth Kofa Nimle from Los Angeles. I'm the one speaking now.
Okay.
It will be on the air. Let's hear it.
It will. So the current situation amongst the two children, it has come up in the public. It has gone to the court. What does it mean for your family and the value of your family that one of the brothers will go to the court, issue a rape for search and seizure with this one paper issued mark original countryman on it?
Yeah, so like I'm saying, no mother will be happy to see our two children going in court. No mother on earth will be happy. No mother will be on earth will be happy. You understand me? They pick up issue here. When I came to America, Thomas, he's the one sent for me. I came to America 2013. February 22nd.
No, this is just to confirm to you that the mother is not happy about the situation.
Sure.
We extend on the mother's interview tomorrow, Denise, since we don't have time. But this is really troubling. And for some reason, I feel bad that two brothers will be at each other's throat, especially the small brother who's supposed to subordinate himself to say, oh, big brother, let's forget about that thing.
Sure.
And, let take that. He has fleet of cars. It's not that maybe you're not supposed to take the car because it's for you. But my point is, to the point at which because any car been with the Mercedes been in like bureau, you not take the car. But because it come to the representative, and you say, oh, get my car. I want my car. And that small children way of doing things.
Yes.
I want my car. What kind of thing is that? That It's not a spirit of reconciliation. And in my mind, nobody who has that spirit is fit enough to lead a group of people that have from different backgrounds, different tribes. How can you reconcile those group of people? Let's go to the phone line 0777-105-100, 0555-105-100. When we come back, we're squeezing Elton John later before we take our guest. But let's hear from you this morning on those issues, the degree of insecurity in our country, and this whole two brother fighting for Representative Sibene, where one of the brother, who the small brother, he won't reconcile with a big brother. So bad, I mean.
You cannot have leaders being vindictive. Yeah. It is bad to see that happening. You know, the need for them to reconcile is important.
It's very important. Let's go to the phone lines this morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. You're live.
Okay, Fidel, good morning. Good morning to the NNC.
Yes, Sekou.
Okay, thank you for the recognition. This is the group of I'm calling from two community. You know, Fidel, the accident that occurred to Lembogo, they are competing statement. Because yesterday, John even and listening to the show, someone called for Bana FL. One of the reporters, but they say that their brother was killed.
You know, not Fula man. That Keke rather than not Fula man.
That's not Fula man. So, you know, when something happens, people just.
You know, that's why you the mother. When you for your children, when the children coming out, you must bring the child out to say that even if they not come for the same part, make them to understand that they for the same man, they must respect one another. That they say what the child they can grow, that they thing they can stand for. Otherwise, if they are not no reason they for two girls to be for one thing, and most is that to go to court. Why you say you make your mother shit, you make your family shit. Maybe they will tell you that maybe that one don't say is better. Maybe some people will say like that. Hey, if I say the man get good today, because the two children, like you, someone that will work for your brother, you pray against your brother, but you the small brother, you someone is bigger than you.
Okay.
For that to judgment, that person is more than you. When I say someone big brother or big sister, no matter anything that person do, you got to live with it. Even if that person wrong, you tell the person say sorry, because the person see they are more than you, and the person, even if your man or your partner, that person your leader, no matter how money you have, no matter how well you are, if something comes to you,
okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much, Sekou. Let's take another person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yes, sir. I'm still here. I'm calling from the street for King's Buffet Belt.
Let's hear you.
Yes, sir. The topic of the discussion is topic looking a little bit, disheartening. Two brothers to go in court. These two brothers, they can kill themselves because whenever you take someone to court, you are killing your friend.
Exactly. You are enemies.
You know, it's starting from the point of all sex. The whole, you want to make them know that they are one flesh. They are so one flesh. It's between them when they come in smaller.
Okay, your line is bad. Maybe, I mean, then the country, if you see your internet can work good, then call again. Call again work good. What kind of country they? Morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Darby, calling from West.
Please lower your radio.
Lower your radio volume, please. Go ahead. Okay, he left the line. Let's take another person here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Thomas Jerry, and I'm from Brownsville.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Yeah, just on the security sector, actually, it's a bad situation for our country. Just to tell you, my brother, a guy that came to me as a friend and his brother, he bought a flat screen TV to me, wholesale 7,000. Even the time you showed me the charge expired, that guy was brave enough to test me. A two bad notorious in Brownsville, well named bloody and email. My own friend tells me that you come to me anytime from now to collect a flat screen in the nail, to be a setting. You don't want to get my money back, or you want to take it by force. I had to test my phone here.
Please go to the police.
Go to the police. Let a complaint to the police quick. Anything can happen now.
Yeah, the next day I went to the police, I registered my case. So I said, I take it back now.
Okay.
The president said, I would give it was right. I report my case. I would send back just in case of anything.
All right. Thank you. Morning. Good morning. You have to shift your position. You're not coming in. Hello? No, I'm not getting you. I don't know. For some reason, your line is bad. Good morning.
Change your location.
Good morning, the ambassador.
Good morning.
Today, I'm securing myself now. I can't be very busy by 6:30. 6:30, I make sure I'm in my room.
Wow.
However, let me just go straight to the issues about my brothers and friends that were killed to Commando yesterday. Yeah, sometimes happens to really when they're down there, picking your pocket to go always standing there and seeing them. I don't know what really happened in this country. People were right yesterday when asking what was happening. They thought that why should start right to cinema there? They got no one wrong. But just imagine they got no one having a gun. So there was no way for them to rescue them. And the issues of the Keke driver, they made them start stopping the man from looking down cinema. They told the guy to stop. Stop. You decided to pull with the Keke. So when they pull with the Keke and got to Bama Bridge, the highway made them cross in front of him. When they crossed in front of him, they saw how the Bama made a highway man did it for to shoot the guy. So why the crowd saw the car around and shooting at everything? So I had to put it.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Thank you. It's so sad. I mean, maybe that man was rushing, the KK man was rushing to the police station, say, even you go there, my brother, to that same police station, that man can do it, chichi to you. Morning.
Good morning, Fidel, and good morning to our sister, Denise.
Good morning, David.
Yeah, David, you have a call from Blessing Street this morning. Fidel and Sis Denise, I just want to thank you for speaking truth to power this morning when it comes to the issue of the high crime rate in our country. I think, Fidel, we are losing it. It's getting so bad that we can't stay out at 8:30 at night. It's getting so bad, we are losing it. I don't know what to do. But anyway, on the issue of those two guys, they died too. I don't really know his name, but I think I like the way you put it, Fidel, your very original witchcraft, they died too. Because why would you envy your own blood in a form of man? Why should it be so? I just want to thank you too for the program this morning. Thank you, sis.
Thank you so much, my brother. Let's take another person here. This person right here. Good morning. Get away from the monitor, please.
Good morning.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, this is Charles McAfee from District 1, Masurado County.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, we told the Liberian people, football player can be president. We told them. You see what happened? It's very, very unsettling. We told them. The president not serious. They're not serious. Some people are not serious for the country. They say they will die before the other people can. They say why you vote. And this coming around, we're not going to continue the kind of thing.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. 0770-105-100, 0555-105-100. The numbers to call. Let's take another person here. Keep your calls coming. 5 more minutes to go, and then we go for our break. This person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Yeah, I'm Joseph Darby calling from West Point, but I dropped on the line.
Okay, let's hear you. You're clear now.
Okay, brother, to the issue of security in our country, it's very much scary. I can remember one time in March, my sister and I, we left from Broad Street in the night by 11 in the night. We go to EWA Junction where you have 40 guys on duty. But the frustrating part about these guys that work at night, they are not searching the vehicle the rightful way they're supposed to search the vehicle. All they're concerned about is money from the drivers. Yeah, I felt so bad that why in case these drivers are carrying something dangerous that is not meant for the country? What in case the driver has kidnapped somebody and get the person at the trunk of the car, and then driver is not concerned, the police is not concerned, about searching the vehicle the rightful way. And then the guy only asks for money from the driver gave, I think, $50 Liberian to get pulled up with his car. But when I get done in radar at that time, my whole spirit left me. Yes, really.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So these things are happening in our country. It's not a good stand for Liberia.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. We have to leave it at that. Now, Dennis, it's not that crimes were not committed in the past. It's not that the security of the state was perfect in the past. But listen, we need to build on the errors of the past.
Sure, we can
to correct what we have now.
Exactly.
But
we cannot continue living in, the past and what have happened in the past, and we cannot improve. That is why we have years and years, upon to build on these things. We are in the 21st century. We cannot be living like we are living in the 19th century. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's sad. Let's go back to the phone line. 0777 105 100. 0555 105 100 are the numbers to call this morning. Let's hear you, original countryman and countryman, Dr. Nimini and his brother MacArthur Hilton. They have to reconcile this situation, and I believe that there is no way that my man will be crying on me. Me and my big brother, we making plow. Me and my man say, you start that plow you're making there and still continue.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with the Thomas name?
And to the extent that your mother will even come in the public to talk about it, it means a lot.
Yeah.
It speaks volume. That she's, she's tired with this situation. She has, exemplified every means, and there's no, way that it can be solved.
Some people get hard, yeah. Some people get hard.
So
Morning.
we need to take a break.
Yeah. Good morning. Oh, it's not open. Let's hear you, my brother.
It's a just a joke want to come in with. The last night, police commander from the depot here, a deputy was chased last night by the Zogo because they wanted to go arrest people, criminal in Battleground. The citizen of that place, John the Zogo, that chased the police people last night. By the intent.
Why?
That's happened.
Why did they do it?
I don't know. They went to go arrest somebody there.
Well, you need to know. You bringing the information now. You know then how you saying it.
I think the community part of the clique, they were able to chase the people last night. They joined in our friend here last night. That happened. The police people got to join in our friend.
For rescue?
They'll be rescued.
Okay.
They got to call the police back up to kind of take care of them for the thing here last night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
The security is very damaging in our country.
Thank you. Say you don't know
Thank
it,
you.
and you reporting it.
Well, I mean, that's his account. Again, we do not censor the opinions of people here, but we are also under obligation to make sure that what is said is factual.
Yeah.
Let's take our break right now. Our guest, Imam Ali Krai, is already here. Tough talking, man. He's been away from the radio for a period of time now. I guess he has a lot on his chest, which he will be unleashing this morning. This is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.1 with me, Fidel City and Dennis Nipsey. Let's take this break and be right back.
I like it. I like it.
Approved institutions or entities under the microfinance service include
It's Chai Keys on the
Liberian.
Are y'all ready now? Skibidi bamba. Na 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 na. Oh na na. Yeah yeah. Oh na na. Yeah yeah yeah. Oh na na. Yeah yeah. Oh na na. Jehovah Obadu. Papa, you too good. Jehovah, you too Because I have you, I face no defeat. Higher and higher, I give you the praise and I give you the honor because you're the king. You love me personally. See the testimony. You get the glory. You get the honor and everything, yeah. You love me personally. See the testimony. You get the glory. You get the honor and everything. Papa, you too good. Jehovah, you too kind. See the things that you done for me. Papa, you too kind.
The good things that you they do. You just cut on my head, oh. About me, oh. For the many blessings you bless me, I cannot tell it all. I thank you. You love me personally. See the testimony. You get the glory, Lord. You know. You love me personal. Testimony. You get the glory, Lord. Yeah. Mama, you do well now. Oh, you let me hear the word. Mama, you do good. Oh, you never call me out. Mama, you do well now.
Are you ready now? You love me personally. See the testimony. You get the glory. You get the honor and everything, yeah.
You love me personally. You love me personally. You get the glory, Lord. Hey,
Yeah, overdo. Overdo.
Jehovah, overdo.
Yeah. Jehovah, you too kind. Papa, you too kind.
You too good. Jehovah, overdo.
The blessings of our day.
Jehovah, overdo.
Your mercies of our good. Jehovah, you too kind. Yeah. Papa, you too kind. You too kind.
It's Chai Keys on the beat.
Are you ready now?
On ABC Radio.
Skibidi bamba ha. Na 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 na. Oh na na. Yeah. Oh na na. Yeah. Oh na na. Yeah. Oh na na. Jehovah overdo. Papa, you too good. Jehovah, you too
years. It's all by the grace of God upon our business. And many thanks to all of our customers who have been very supportive during these years.
Okay, that's great. Congratulations to you and your team. What has been the secret behind this this company all this while?
The biggest secret is God has been with us all through, and we trail on the path of trustworthiness, honesty, confidentiality, because we protect the identity of all of our clients. It is a non-political institution.
Mm-hmm.
We do business with any individual from any ruling party or opposition, or where opposition that you find yourself in.
Okay.
There's a business that open to do business with every other person, and we protect the identity of our clients.
Okay.
God has been so faithful to us over the period of time.
Okay, just before we let you go, what is the vision of Bokonjide in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, our vision is that to see how best that we can be able to provide loan to low-income earners, individuals who are not covered under the bracket of obtaining loan from some financial institution, which include the banks,
Mm-hmm.
to see how best that we can be able to fit you in our system, because there's a non-collateral loan. You come and apply, it's an instant loan that we provide to you. Once you meet the criteria, you should be a GT Bank account holder. You should be an EcoBank account holder with SIB also.
Okay.
These are banks that will do direct deposits from direct transfer from the customer account to our account.
Okay. Thank you so much, Elton, and congratulations to you and your company, Bokonjide.
Thanks ever so much.
Okay, it's Elton John. No time to waste. Imam Cry is always ready to fire. Denise.
Yes, Imam Ali Cry, you like to say welcome to ABC Radio.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I know this is your first time, or you've been there before?
When you were up Broad Street, I mean, how you call it, near Duco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was there with Matthias.
Okay.
Okay, so we'd like to say welcome though, and we know you just ended the fast, the holy month of Ramadan. Yeah, how was it?
It was great. It was great. As we say, we hope that our prayers will be answered, that our fasting will be beneficial, and that in the time ahead, God will bless us to be the way He wants us to be and to do the things He wants us to do.
Okay, so are you still the chief imam?
Yeah, this question is so interesting. Yes, I am. I am the national chief imam of Liberia. I guess people are a bit ignorant about the Muslim community and the way things are organized. So probably this is why this question is asked. A few other people have been asking. Maybe I should say many people have been asking, including people in the diaspora, about developments, especially recent developments within the Muslim community. And what confused people stems from the fact that they don't know the difference between the National Muslim Council of Liberia and the National Imam Council of Liberia, which are two distinct entities that have existed for decades side by side in this country. Traditionally, the Grand Mufti of Liberia is from the National Muslim Council, and the National Chief Imam is from the National Imam Council.
Okay.
So, for example, even though there is no written agreement, but let's all say traditionally. So, for example, the National Imam Council should not choose a Grand Mufti. Because our role has been to choose a head of the Imams in the country, who is the National Chief Imam. And the Muslim Council, since 1984, has been naming a Grand Mufti. They have had a Grand Mufti. And because of that, I think every group tries to, play by this unwritten rule
Grand Mufti for Muslim Council, Chief Imam for Imam Council. So the Muslim Council cannot change a Chief Imam, just as the National Imam Council cannot change the Grand Mufti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So, I mean, even though you work side by side, you have different responsibilities as per your prescribed roles, but there's been this confusion in the with this national convention that was held for the Muslim Council, and there've been noise. I don't know what's your reading of all of what's happened
with the
along
Abu
the way.
Bakr Smago.
Yes, like I said, I mean, I think the main noise you've heard has to do with the naming of the new Grand Mufti, which, as I said, has been the traditional role of the Muslim Council, because Sheikh Sumaru contested in 2010 for the Mufti position. At the time, he said he was already the Mufti, and I think many recognized him as such. But he went to the elections, which in our view was not necessary. That it was not the right thing to do.
To have gone to the elections?
To have gone to the election, because, you see, spiritual positions in Islam are not up for elections.
That's what I want to ask.
You know, we don't operate based on the aspirations of the people. We do things in accordance with the will of God. So when you are subject to popular votes, it means you have to behave like politicians.
Exactly.
You have to speak in a way that the people will want you to
be
speak.
convinced that you are the man.
You know, so, but when you are speaking for God, you don't mind whether the people are against what you say at a particular time. And that is the rule of religious leaders.
How has it been traditionally?
You know, so traditionally, all over the world, imams, muftis are not elected. All over the world.
Consensus building, and you place them in positions.
Sometimes stakeholders gather and through consensus, you know, choose somebody that they think is fit to be the leader. And there's no term limit. There's no term limit. So in a way, he was right. But then he put himself in the process in 2010. Instead of challenging and say, look, we can't go into this. I'm the Grand Mufti. This is not an electable position. It's not something you will vote over. Unless maybe in the case of wrongdoing, you know, something that is terribly wrong, and then people can come together and say, look, this man cannot continue.
Sure.
The stakeholders. But instead of that, he went and got elected. He won against Sheikh Umaru Sana in 2010. It was based on that the people in 2015, 16 said, but the tenure has expired with the rest of the executive members of the National Muslim Council. But this is a democratic society. So he went ahead and formed what he called the Supreme Fatwa Council, and says he was still the Grand Mufti of that Fatwa Council. Instead of now being Grand Mufti for Muslim Council, he's now Grand Mufti for Fatwa Council. And like I said, there's a democratic society. Anybody can call himself anything.
And what is the Fatwa Council?
Fatwa is the same, those who do the work of the Mufti. You know. So those who issue verdict on Islamic issues.
All right.
That is the work of the Muftis. So the Muslim Council had their elections. They even wanted us to be part of them, the Imam Council to join. We refused. We said the Muslim Council is basically a political body. Politicians, business, we are all over there.
At least the way they proceeded over the time.
We don't want to get involved with the politics of the Muslim Council. We are spiritual people, the imams. So we decided to remain by ourselves. I'll put it this way. But he agreed. He agreed to go back. I mean, I don't know how it happened. We only heard that a new Grand Mufti has been chosen. Up to now, we are still studying the matter. The National Imam Council, we are studying the matter. What also emerged was that they had within the Muslim Council structure what they call the Imam body to handle Imam issues for the National Muslim Council. And I think, and they were very careful. Instead of saying the Imam Council within the Muslim, we say the Imam body, which everyone has the right to do. You can form even National Muslim Student Association.
Didn't you see that as a usurpation
Even the National Muslim Student Association of Liberia has a chief imam. Every organization can have their chief imam.
Okay.
Just like any organization can have a president. Well, you have the president of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay.
You know, so they are the imam body, and they said this person is the head of the imam body within the National Muslim Council. Some people who got some issues with us decided to elevate it and make it a provocative thing. The old National Muslim Council are choosing a new chief imam. You know, but I think which was probably not the intent of the people who did that. For example, Muslim Council can have their own activities where we are not involved. They will need an imam to officiate certain things like any organization. And they carefully avoided the word chief imam. They say head of the imam body. I mean, maybe not to create the wrong impression. But like I said, there are always people everywhere who want to blow things out of proportion. So they say, oh, Muslim Council new chief imam. But I think with time, that issue is dying down because people are getting the understanding that they were actually not choosing chief imam of the Republic of Liberia. And we are discussing with them to see how we can work together to move forward. So basically, there is information as for the Grand Mufti issue. We ourselves are still studying it at the level of the National Imam Council, looking at the Sharia implications and all the other things, and the implication for unity of the Muslim community, which is our priority, that our people should actually be united. Division is not a good thing, especially as a minority group.
Okay.
Go.
So recently, going down to national issues, recently you made a call to the National Elections Commission. Yes.
Yes, the National Elections Commission, most of the time people ask religious leaders to pray. And we have been praying. And then it's to be frank, you cannot pray about things you are not sincere about. And I think most of the time in this country, we are expected to just perform this drama in the name of prayers, spiritual drama, kind of thing. You shouting, we organize some spiritual retreat and some kind of crusade, or maybe you may call it sacrifice, or let's pray for the country. It is our responsibility as religious leaders to pray for the country, and we have been praying for the country on a daily basis, because if the country is not peaceful, we ourselves, we and our families will be affected. So it is obligatory on us to pray for the peace of the nation. But you see, this God that we worship, especially Muslims and Christians, believe in the existence of hell. We believe in the existence of hell.
Sure.
God, who is very merciful, the most merciful of all, still sends people to hell. Because there are certain boundaries that must not be crossed. You cannot get away. Look at these people who commit ritual murders, killing other people so that they may get in power, get wealth, etc. This kind of heartlessness. And you think it should just go with impunity. No, God says no. And that is why he's created hell. I'm saying the law of cause and effect has always been in existence and will always be in existence. You cannot escape it through prayers. When you sow corn, you will reap corn. You can't sow corn and pray that it should turn into rice.
What do you mean?
In other words, if you don't want to do things fairly, you are creating the condition for chaos. In the absence of fair play, what comes out automatically as a natural consequence is chaos.
Is that the National Elections Commission?
So the National Elections Commission, like I said in my sermon, we pray for them. Because they are human beings, we know there are temptations. And let's be very frank. Sometimes people blame one group or the other for rigging or attempting to rig elections. Probably almost every political actor would favor rigging an election in their favor. So the temptations are many and huge. And that's why we pray that God will guard them. So that they will conduct free, fair, and transparent elections. Because failure to do that will only lead to chaos. Yes, you cannot suppress the people. Politics is an emotive exercise. People get involved with their emotions. And when you try to do things that provoke the emotions of the people, like by not holding free and fair elections, especially transparent elections, then there's a recipe for violence. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's why I brought in the AFL. So we pray the Elections Commission will do the right thing, because in 2020, I read in the Observer that I didn't give proof that there were problems in the 2020 senatorial elections. Everybody knows there were problems. You know the case of the senators from Cape Mount and Lofa. The time it took for the matter to be resolved, just a few senators, just few senatorial seats, the time it took between the Elections Commission and the Supreme Court for those matters to be resolved. You can imagine, there were just a senatorial election, 15 senators. I think it was just about a year or so before some of these matters got resolved. Imagine you are now going to an election where you have 15 senators, 73 representatives, and I don't know how many presidential candidates. So that's why I say, if the way NEC and the Supreme Court handled some aspects, I was specific, say some aspects of the 2020 senatorial elections, if there is anything to go by, then we must say woe unto Liberia. Because this one will be far more complex, far more complicated
than
2020. And if it will take you about a year to resolve about 2 or 3 senatorial disputes between the Supreme Court and NEC, then what do you have when you have a presidential elections? You have 73 representatives and you have 15 senators in the race. So they have to really be more focused. And I'm saying both the National Elections Commission and the Supreme Court of Liberia, they have to be very focused.
Now, the election is October 10, but there are processes that lead to the elections. From your own reading of things and the activities that have been going on so far, how will you consider the process? Has it been going on smoothly? Are there signs that the election day itself will not be occasioned by chaos based on the activities that are leading to the elections?
For now, when it comes to the voter registration, we can make any serious comment because we haven't been able to analyze the results of the first phase. We don't probably have the expertise and the means to really study and understand what has happened. But we are observing, and we are hoping that the political parties are observing far more than we are doing, so that the whole process of voter registration ends satisfactorily. Well, that's the first stage. I mean, we are all stakeholders. We are all concerned about a stable and peaceful society. But the political parties that may tomorrow want to complain of irregularities have to be more focused on these issues now. Because, I mean, election rigging is a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. There are stages in the process of rigging elections. And I highlighted a few of them in my summer. One is the creation of fake polling stations, which is a very serious issue. And unfortunately, many political parties don't care about that. It is real. We know that it is one of the things that can be done to change the results of elections. So, as far as you are concerned, there are 100 polling stations in your constituency. Whereas, at the end of the day, you have 150 polling stations producing results. 50 more than you are aware of. If you are not careful, those 50 will be the ones that decide the winner. You may lose, you will feel cheated, but you don't know how.
You don't have.
So you can't prove because it's just like it will appear like magic, some kind of miracle. But how come? I got the people on my side. But the reality is results came from places that didn't exist. So you have to be very
on the alert.
They should know how to handle this thing before it is late. And they can handle it especially after voter registration. Once the voter registration exercise is completed, their first duty is to ensure that NEC gives them everything, all the polling stations and where they are. And they have to be meticulous. They have to ensure that they know exactly. They shouldn't take things for granted. I mean, all political parties, the ruling party, the opposition party, everyone. Because opposition also can rig elections. Don't overlook that. Sometimes people think it is only a ruling party that rigs elections. Oppositions have been rigging elections in many places in the world. So everyone should be on the alert. Make sure that the polling stations in this constituency are there. You have people visiting every one of them. Don't take anything for granted. That is stage one. Once that is done, then election day, when results start to come,
you wouldn't be surprised.
You'll not be surprised. So when you get more results than you have, you say, but where are these other ones coming from? Because we already have the 100 polling stations results with us. So where are the other results coming from? Then you have an issue.
Okay. Now, David Eto Brown Lasana has conducted few elections since her reign. And now, I remember just few days ago, the political leader of one moment, Mandela Kopo, was expressing concern regarding the conduct of some government officials in influencing the activities of the National Elections Commission. What level of confidence do you have in the leadership of David Eto Brown Lasana to lead us to the elections?
I think she has tried. She has done well to some extent. But holding elections is always a challenging affair. Like I said earlier, there will be temptations from all over. Temptations from the people in power, temptations from those who want to get in power. How you resist those temptations will determine how successful you will be in holding free, fair, and transparent elections. So I think she tried. I complained about some aspects of the 2020 senatorial election, and she has to look at what happened there. I hope they have looked at what happened to ensure that this kind of thing is avoided in this election, because it's a more complicated election than the 2020 election. Generally, I think she's done well. She's done well. We can give her A, but if I would grade her, I would give her like B.
B.
Yes, but if she's not careful, it can drop to F.
Depending on what she does.
Depending on what she does. Yeah, so I think they have more to do.
Okay, let's look at the governance of the state. Yesterday, the ambassador, U.S. ambassador, released a statement. The day before yesterday, that is, but it came out yesterday. He released a statement regarding the general governance of the state, from the angle of the executive, the legislature, without dwelling so much on his statement. You have been around for a while now, and you've assessed the different political activities taking place in our country. How do you see the governance of the state?
Generally, in an election year, it is not prudent for religious leaders to speak on the way the state is governed. Because whatever you say may be interpreted as supporting or criticizing the government in power. And this is where some people don't understand us. Some people expect you to be praising the government. Some people expect you to be criticizing the government. You know, we receive complaints from all over. From people in power who believe that we're against the government, and from people out of power who sometimes say we don't speak on the issues affecting governance when we should. But Like we said, we are not going to praise or be praising God for any government. In the same way, we are not going to do the job of the opposition. So there are issues that opposition should handle. And in an election year, it is their responsibility to look at those areas where they think the government has failed and highlight them as part of the campaign efforts. So we will not now comment on the way the country is being governed, because were we to do that, if our comment is positive, we may be seen as promoting the government. If our comment is negative, we'll be seen as opposing or helping the opposition. So there are only certain critical issues that we can talk about, especially issue of security, because this one affects everybody, whether you are in government or in opposition. And this is where we believe that saying it is the government in power, they should do more.
Okay. Now, so before going to security, let's talk about electricity, which is key. I guess you have a social media handle, and you go there every day. You hear people complain about the unreliability of public power, and as a result of that, there are even business people who are running into losses because they have to run their private generators, which is to a greater extent contributing to the status of our economy right now. First of all, are you benefiting from public power? Do you subscribe to the LEC?
Yes. The same on and off everywhere. So, yes, we benefiting on and off.
On and off.
Yeah.
So unreliable.
Yes, unreliable as it has been since the end of the Liberian Civil War.
What can we do to improve this sector?
Well, the experts will provide the answers.
You're not an expert, though.
I think maybe having the right people there will help.
Okay.
I just haven't been able to understand why, since the end of the war, we have not been able to sort things out regarding power and water in this country. Because I remember in the late 80s when I came to Monrovia, LEC used to make an announcement like a day or two ahead, just to inform people that from 3 o'clock to 5 p.m. tomorrow in the Lagbazi area, for example, there will be power outage. They would tell us ahead of time. But nowadays, the irregular power supply is a normal thing in the country. And it's a political thing.
You think so?
It is a political thing. Every government should ensure that this problem is solved. But the reason why I emphasize that it's been so since the end of the war is because, you know, when you are even doing politics, you have to be sincere. I haven't, since I came back to Liberia in 2010, I have not experienced unstable electricity.
Yeah, I'm told it's even more unstable than it is stable.
Yeah. I've not experienced stable electricity. I mean, unfortunately, I lived in Mali, in Bamako, for 1 year. And during, 12 months, during that period, I experienced power outage 3 times.
3 times?
And the longest time was about 10 minutes.
Wow.
In Bamako. I mean, those are people we imagine in Liberia, because we don't know anything about other countries. We just assume we are okay. We imagine them to be far behind. No. Many of these countries are far ahead of us. Far ahead of us. So that is Bamako. I'm not talking about Dakar. You know, so we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And I listened to the U.S. ambassadors. I read a statement from the U.S. ambassador. And I said this thing about 10 years ago, when I was co-chair of the National Advisory Board of Plan International, Liberia. We were opportune to visit some of Plan's projects across the country, especially in Lofa and Bomi. We went from village to village, town to town, city to city. When I returned, I shook my head. And I said, I mean, it means all the things we used to be hearing, even when we were growing up in the 80s. Or the government has done this, today the government has done this. Successive governments in this country got absolutely nothing in place in the interior. That's just a wilderness. The interior of Liberia is wilderness. I mean, in sharp contrast to what you see in Ghana. You know, in Ghana, when you reach Accra, you don't have the impression of being in an advanced city. When you land, you know, nearly. Because you don't see these impressive skyscrapers like you may see in Abidjan, Dakar, etc. You may not see them. But no, the standard of living in Ghana is far above that of Ivory Coast and maybe Senegal. Because the Ghanaians don't believe in these huge skyscrapers, this and that. Not the infrastructure, but infrastructure that have meaning.
Okay.
That impact people's lives. Because I visited, I was a Da'wah person. Da'wah person means an evangelist in Ghana for about 8 years, I'm talking about. And I visited many rural areas. Almost everywhere, electricity. The lady in whose house I was living, my mother in Ghana, Hajia Katumi, she once served as district education officer, called district director of education. A district director, the one called DO.
DO, yeah.
And I used to go to her district where she was assigned out of Accra in the eastern region. Just a district, not the regional. But you have regional is the county here. Just the district education office. You got 2 vehicles assigned. I mean, you have everything there. You got a county office, you got this. And anytime she was going to Accra for the weekend, even the driver that was carrying her had allowance for going for weekend with the boss. That's what I'm talking about more than 10 years ago now, when I was in Ghana. I'm not talking about where they are now. That is why I said this 1847 mentality has to be erased from our psyche. We are the oldest African republic with nothing to show for it. So it is successive governments in this country that have failed. They have failed to invest meaningfully in the interior of Liberia. I mean, look at the capital. The capital itself is struggling. The sewage problem is a disaster. The sewage situation is a disaster. And then you have electricity, water, not functioning. But rather than politicize it, of course we politicize it in a way as to be inclusive, like the ambassador said, that this may not be the work of one political party. We may say, well, the war destroyed a lot of things, but what I saw in 2013 got nothing to do with the war. These structures were just not there. Not that they were destroyed. They were not there.
Non-existent.
So it means from the 80s all the way coming, nothing was there. So you can't blame the war. And like he said, Madame Saliv started establishing these service centers. But they're just skeletons.
Skeletons? What do you mean?
Because
just
just structures that can function.
Were they not functional?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that is for people like you to investigate. I don't know whether they were functioning, but they exist. It's just like you build a hospital, a beautiful structure that everybody looks at it and say, oh, it's impressive, a very good building.
Which was also mentioned by the ambassador.
But no doctors, no medicine. There's no hospital.
I mean, from 1847 to 2023, what has happened along the way that has us where we are today, that we've not seen significant improvement in the interior part of Liberia? For now, I mean, as indicated by the head of the Liberia Revenue Authority, Thomas Dona, that Liberia is raising revenue as opposed to what we raised several years ago. We are at a nation's high, record high, so to speak. What is happening? Is it the issue of leadership, or is the issue of the resources not being used for the right purposes?
You can ask, you can ask that question. You can ask the people who are responsible. You can ask the government officials, because I think these are questions that journalists should be asking over and over again.
You've been around for a while. What have you seen?
I hear the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not working for government. I don't receive salary from government, so all I see is the same old Liberia that I've been saying since I came back 2010. So maybe when asked thoroughly,
Mm-hmm.
they will provide answers. Because I'm the revenue man, he's already told you he's raised
Mm-hmm.
enough money,
Mm-hmm.
more than enough to do everything, to even probably double people's salaries.
Mm-hmm.
So it is up to you, the journalists,
Hmm.
to now ask those who are responsible to pay the people
Mm-hmm.
what is happening. Maybe they can explain in a way that will make the people to understand.
And maybe people like you who control mass group of people need to start speaking in order to put pressure to bed. Don't you see it that way?
We've been speaking. And that is why yesterday, the day before, when the U.S. ambassador released a statement,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw people commenting, some of the same people, few years back, a couple of years back, when we said the legislature was the most useless branch of government, were criticizing us, that were promoting chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in that legislature. I don't speak on issues I'm ignorant of. I worked in that legislature. The 2 years I served there, I served to the best of my ability, and I have enough experience of the workings of the national legislature. I know what they are supposed to be doing. I know what they are capable of doing. I know that they can bring a government down. They have the power. But if they are not doing that, and they are receiving huge allocations in budgetary allotments, then people should question their existence. That's what I was doing. And when I spoke, I was not saying like, I saw the release from Honorable Swakuku Dennis, that the man was too generous.
He needed to be specific.
He can't. When I said the legislature was useless, I was not unaware of the fact that there are honorable men and women in that place. But democracy is about majority rule. So when the people say Liberia has a good government, or Liberia has a bad government, or the Liberians didn't choose a good government, or they chose a good government, when they make that statement, they are talking about the majority of Liberians. So if you have a minority that cannot make the kind of impact that will change things, then the minority is helpless and meaningless in a way. And that is why we generalize. We don't generalize to implicate every single person. We generalize because that is a general picture
of what it is.
Because it's about the outcome, the effect. What is the total effect of all the work done by the legislature? If at the end of the day, you have like 30 senators, and then 10 one side, but 20 take the day, and it happens all the time, oh yes, we'll be right to say the body is useless.
Okay. Do you still stand by that now?
Oh yes.
You still think the legislature is useless?
They know. They themselves know they are useless. They know. But they will not tell you. I think one of the senators, Netanyahu, at one point, even buttressed my statements 2 years ago. He said it. They know they are useless. You know, what makes a man useless? We have the executive branch. The president, makes proposals. And what the legislature is supposed to be doing is to look at those things and say, look, these ones are in the interest of our people. So we are not going to endorse this. Most of the time, they don't. They receive bribes.
And they agree with everything.
And they agree with almost everything. I'm not the one accusing of receiving bribes. Their own members have been saying they receive bribes. You hear some of them saying envelope, money is in this building. Like you've been hearing it, you're a journalist. So, I mean, I don't speak to anything I don't have knowledge about. I've heard representatives and senators saying that they receive bribes, or that their colleagues do.
Now, I mean, let's go talk about this general issue that has to do with security. Just yesterday, a young man was killed because he was transporting individuals who had gone from the bank and taken money to their business center. I mean, and the same day before yesterday, another incident occurred in Congo Town. And then some part of the week before last, another incident occurred along the Kakata Monrovia Highway, where a back rider was allegedly killed for his back on that same area. Now, there's been semblance of what appears to be lack of security in our country. People's bags have been snatched away from them. What do you think is happening?
When I was coming, I heard Dennis talking about, or probably you and Dennis talking about this thing. And she said, the fact that it happens in another country doesn't mean that we can't control it here. Because this is the excuse people will bring. Now in America, almost on a daily basis, you hear of shooting. But the Americans, this is happening because of the system they created for themselves. You know, the Democrats have been talking about controlling guns. The Republicans have been saying no, so they have the, I don't know, call it First Amendment rights, etc. So there's America. You cannot compare yourself to America with just around 5 million people. This country is not sophisticated to a point where we should now have organized crime going unchecked. The security forces should be able to handle this. And if they are not handling it, the legislature, if they actually knew their responsibility and they wanted to live up to expectation, they should hold them to account. But you see, our people call it kukujumoku.
You're not inside, you don't know.
So it's like all of them are in this thing where money is allocated for certain operations of government are not really spent in those areas, but made to disappear. And that is responsible for the level of insecurity you see today. Because whether it was you or Dennis was saying this thing, the policeman on the street, I mean, money would never be enough for him or they. You know, if you have $1 million, you want $1 billion. But if the man were at least paid in a way that he can handle basic things in his home, pay his children's school fees, is reasonably relaxed, he'll try his best. There are patriots in this country. There are people who want to do the right thing. But there's simply no incentive to doing the right thing.
Lack of motivation.
Lack of motivation. And sometimes, now I've seen cases where a police person will arrest someone for doing the wrong thing or violating traffic, etc., and that person will stand there and call a senior officer, and then the police officer will be told to release the person.
Imagine.
So, when it happens like that, you think what would make the man to want to risk his life to go after criminals? Sometimes you go and arrest those people. The police know where they are. They know where these robbers are. They know the hard house. In fact, they don't, nowadays it's not about hard house. The ghettos are all in the open. People see the people going up and down.
And that takes me to my next focus, the proliferation of drugs in our country. The youth, their lives are being destroyed.
This has to be handled at many fronts.
Okay.
The religious community should play a big role in this. And the government has our own role to play. But I put this thing more on the religious community.
Why do you?
If we are properly organized, and I must say we need some assistance. But again, look, City, this country needs rebooting.
Rebooting?
Yes.
Start over?
All over.
How do we do that?
Because sometimes you think about our problems and you don't know where to start from. I'm sorry to say, sometimes even the religious community is a disappointment.
You think so?
Sometimes. And again, I'm not saying every single religious leader in this country. We have a lot of well-respected clergymen in this country, Christians, Muslims. We have them. But the general picture is not encouraging. I mean, there is even corruption in the religious community.
Really?
And it makes it difficult for you to handle the issues, because the fundamental problems are moral. But like I said, the religious community could play a huge role in combating drug addiction in this country, because we know the people. We deal with the people on a regular basis.
You mean the
clergy?
The drug bringing drugs.
Everyone, whether the drug dealers or the drug addicts themselves, etc. We know the people. They are our people. Some of them are our congregants. They come to our worship centers. You know, unfortunately, I have a few Zogo friends. But then when I look at their situation, sometimes you want to help, you try to help them out. But then you realize that this requires systemic effort.
Instead of individual
effort.
effort.
Just individual effort. But I'm sure if the religious community is properly organized, and that's why I raised the issue of corruption, unfortunately, not to criticize clergymen. And like I said, there are respected clergymen in this country. There are bishops, reverends that will hold in very high esteem, the same way we have imams that are very well respected. But even corruption has crept into the religious community. And so sometimes you have situations where people claim to be religious, and then they organize some kind of project and
ask for a fundraiser.
And then in the end, it's just the same as the politicians behave.
Those same people bring that money in.
the same behavior politicians, it's just a 419 show. And so it's a little complicated, but I'm sure the religious community can play a big role in drug addiction because it's serious. We could help the government. And that is if the government is also serious.
What kind of role can you play?
Through counseling.
Okay.
Putting people together, really talking to them. Because it's our work. Counseling is our work. Making people realize their potential. Making people see the danger that they are putting their own future in. That's our job. Making people to have hope in their future despite their current condition. That's our job. That's what we are supposed to be doing. You see, the work of religious leaders is not just to be shouting on the pulpit, as we call it in Islam, on the minbar, or you will go to hell, like I was saying, my khutbah, or you will go to heaven. No, it is about reform.
Transforming lives.
Transforming the lives of the people. If you even perform all the miracles, but people remain immoral, what is the essence? Religion is not about making it in life. If it were about that, then the Japanese will not be on top of things, the Chinese will not be on top of things. God provides for people not on the basis of their faith in Him. But that is a subject for another occasion. We're not talking about that. But I'm just saying that the reason why we have religion is to make people moral, to make people do the right thing, to make people live in line with the will of God, to change lives. That is the essence of religion. The Quran said to take people from darkness to light. And so it's not just about telling you all your problems are solved, you'll be a millionaire. No, it is about telling the millionaire, look, you are treading the wrong path.
Okay, He's Chief Imam Ali Krai. He's our guest on the program. I've even forgotten that the time has even run out this way. But that's the man he is. I mean, you never leave him without getting something. Let's go to the phone lines now on 0777 105 100, 0555 105 100. The head of the Imam Council of Liberia, Chief Imam Ali Krai, is our guest on the program, and he has spoken on a lot of issues in very soft way. And I guess you also listened to him and the inputs you want to make on the program this morning. Let's do it as quickly as possible because I mean our interaction. I enjoyed the conversation, so I was actually carried away. 0555 105 100, 0777 105 100 are the numbers to call this morning and speak to Chief Imam Ali Krai. And I think we will need to have this conversation again because there are lots of issues that we did not touch. And I also want to touch them. And this morning, one of the things I see you very careful with, you watching your voice, how to go about it, maybe because it's during the election period. But before we go to the lines, quickly, let me ask you this question. Most of the appointments that have been made by the president is actually they are actually from the Christian community. Is it that those from your side are refusing these appointments, or that the president is not looking your way?
You said that I'm trying to be careful my words. Indeed, I have to be careful. This is an election year. We don't want to appear like we are campaigning for somebody or campaigning against somebody. I think I will need to have the statistics of the percentages of Muslims and non-Muslims appointed in government to be able to say something to that, because
I mean those who are serving in high positions in
high positions. Well, yeah, we sometimes it's proportional to our number in the country. We've been having an issue with that, to be frank. We've been having an issue with that for a long time.
And what has been an issue?
We think the percentage of Muslims in high government positions is less than fair.
Less than fair.
It's not just now. I mean, even in the past, it has been like that. Remember, even under Madame Salif, with the exception of Amara Kone, I'm struggling to remember another person. You know, we're in the same way now, with the exception of Minister Salif. And I'm struggling to remember another person. So it's I think like some of these things are issues that we can look at, but it's an election year, and I think the political parties, including the ruling party, can see how they address some of these issues. You know, because all we want in this country is unity, peace. I mean, that cohesive spirit, so that we as a nation can move forward. So we hope that people will be looking at it. And I must say, for example, some of the issues we have been advocating for a period of time now, like the question of holiday. We haven't spoken for a while on the issue for good reason. When we address some issues in the ways that we do sometimes, it's intended to arouse the conscience of our people. And so you don't continue to press. You have to wait. After you have advocated, after you have shouted for a while, you have to wait for people to digest it. Because people usually don't like to act under pressure.
Impossible, yeah.
So you remove after the pressure, you remove the pressure for a while. And then after some time, when the dust settles, then people begin to even ask themselves, oh, but the person was saying the right thing. Maybe at the time we were emotional, we didn't understand it. And so we are beginning to see some results.
Okay.
Like the Ministry of Education. Almost just stopped short of saying there's a break. But almost everything that teachers should excuse Muslims from any serious academic work, etc. And you know, if you are Muslim students are around 20% of some schools or population. So yeah, obviously I mean no serious school that day, you know. And the MCSS just went straight forward and said, look, school closed. Okay. So we got in there, and we expect we are telling the Moravia City Corporation to do similarly. They didn't. So we allow people to now act, this is an election year. We don't want to act like we are campaigning for or against somebody. I think the issues are bare. Everybody can see them. So when people are going to vote, they know how they're going to vote.
Okay, let's squeeze a few persons in. Good morning.
Good morning, Fidel.
Good morning, my brother.
And good morning to our Imam, Imam Ali Krai. Following all the years and your talk of speak truth to power. But I like the way you put the legislature that they are useless body. But one thing I want him to do, I want him to go more further. Because our leaders, they promise us during the election that they will do SYV and they are not doing it. So I just want to thank you, Imam, for coming on. And I hope and pray that you speak through the power, you look into our leaders' field and tell them what they're supposed to do and what they are not doing. Thank you this morning.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's take maybe a few more. And you were on this appointment thing. And again, have you at any point in time consulted the legislature on this issue of holiday, that is, I mean, to have a conversation with them? Because if anything of that sort is happening, it has to emanate from the legislature.
Yeah, we have been talking to some of the people in the legislature. For some of them, it's a tricky issue. For others, there are those in this country. This country, I said, needs complete rebooting. There are people in that place. You can imagine at that level. The very people who would go to Muslims during Ramadan and say they are giving rice. Alhamdulillah, I would say thank God this year most of them they come with rice to us. So we're happy about that. I think they're getting our message that rice doesn't matter.
And the last time we spoke about it.
So the very people that will be going to Muslims and carrying cows, etc. The same people will raise the issue of holiday. They are against it.
In the legislature?
In the legislature. I'm telling you, the overwhelming majority of our legislators are against giving Muslims their full rights as citizens of Liberia. Majority.
Nice. Well, we have to close it up. We've gone above. How would you like to close, Chief Imam?
Well, I just want to close with this statement that I made concerning the AFL. And like I said in my sermon, the armed forces of Liberia has indeed been a force for good. This new armed forces of Liberia. We still recognize them to be probably the best government institution in the country, post-war Liberia. And we respect the leaders of the armed forces of Liberia. They are some of the best people in our country today. We still respect them. But we want to continue to hold them in that high esteem. And I just want to advise them. They are human beings. They also make mistakes. Though we praise them, some of them are good friends of ours. Their recent statements, like almost always warning the citizens that in case of chaos, they will help the police, they will do this. I don't think it's proper.
You think so?
Go to the root of the problem. That's, like I said, you should be the defenders of democracy. The reason why citizens may come out to protest could be that elections are rigged. So maybe, if at all you would talk, I don't think there's even their role to do that, but if at all you would say anything, you should give an advice to the elections, to those conducting the elections, that the armed forces of Liberia is looking forward to free and fair elections so that we continue to protect the Constitution. But instead of talking to those running the elections, they are talking to citizens who may protest, assuming that people will want to protest. I mean, for me, that is the most worrisome thing. How do you arrive at the conclusion that people may want to protest? So it raises a lot of questions. Are there people planning to rig elections? And therefore you are predicting that people may protest? And instead of fighting rigged elections, you'll be fighting the citizens that will be protesting? It's worrisome. If you ask Bokassa in Central African Republic, you ask Samuel Kayando, you ask all the people, it will not work. It can't help you. because you can't intimidate the people into accepting fraud. Talk to the elections body. Talk to the judiciary. Let the elections be free, fair, and transparent. There'll be no need for serious protest, because anybody getting this, we just have a few hundred people, because they will not have a moral cause. So I just want to say we respect them, and so far they are the best in my view. If I will create all the government entities, the institutions one by one, I'll put the AFL as number one up to now. But we just want them to maintain that.
Okay. He's the head of the Imam Council of Liberia, Chief Imam Ali Cry. He has been our guest on the second segment of the show this morning. So bad we got carried away by the conversation, and we didn't have the opportunity to have more of your inputs on the program this morning. But we're calling you up even before the elections, and I know then you have a lot more to say to you, the people of Liberia. Folks, thank you so much for listening this morning. It has been a pleasure serving you as always, and we hope we can do it again tomorrow morning. That's when we'll be here on the program, The Morning Breeze. As we always say here, let us all remain peaceful, keep Liberia peaceful, and those who have the power in their hands must use it responsibly so that this country can get better by the day. Do have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye from our end.